to the second part of my perimenopause and menopause video series. In this second part, we're covering some nutrition fundamentals or basics. Last one, I spoke about carbohydrates and the importance of really increasing high fiber carbohydrates, decreasing those simple refined carbs, and also thinking about the timing and the way we eat. So, timing those carbs in and around exercise when our body is more receptive to the carbohydrate. Now we're going to switch focus to protein, and ensuring we have adequate quality protein intake is really essential, especially during perimenopause and menopause. As women age, our ability to put on lean muscle mass or develop lean muscle mass becomes harder. So we need to provide that anabolic stimulus or that building up stimulus to help promote lean muscle gain and also for recovery. So how do we provide this anabolic stimulus? So basically through exercise, especially resistance and strength training, but also by consuming quality protein. So we need a really good amount of circulating amino acids. So protein is made up of a number of amino acids, 20 in total, 9 are essential and then 11 are non-essential. Essential means they're ones that we can't make in our own body. So we need to provide those, the building blocks for those. So for example, arginine is really important for endothelial function. So that can help reduce vasomotor symptoms such as hot flashes. And then leucine, which is really important for that muscle protein synthesis after exercise. But it also crosses the blood-brain barrier, which means that it helps support our central nervous system. So it can help reduce fatigue and brain fog, which is quite common at this time in perimenopause. But when we think about protein intake, we don't need to be thinking about specific amino acids. We just need to be thinking about having quality protein and that we split our protein intake over the day. So we need to be having protein with every main meal, every snack that we have, and then also a good hit of protein post-exercise. So what does this look like? With every meal, you want roughly 25 to 30 grams with every main meal, roughly 10 to 15 grams of protein with every snack. And post-exercise, you really need to be having about 20 or 40 grams, and ideally within about 30 minutes, or at the most 30 to 60 minutes post-exercise. So the post-exercise protein, though, is more important based on the length of training. So when you are training for more than 60 minutes, so for example, a run that goes for 60 minutes or more, you definitely need to have that protein hit. If you're doing 45 minutes or more of resistance strength training, again, having that protein hit post-exercise is really important. If you're doing more of a yoga or Pilates session, then just having the protein in your next main meal is fine, or the next meal. You don't necessarily need to have that protein hit to really promote that muscle recovery and growth. So by having the protein, why it's important to have that protein straight after exercise. So having it within 30 minutes post-exercise, it helps to reduce the cortisol, which is our natural stress hormone, which becomes elevated during exercise, as exercise is a stressor. And so it helps to then, so having the protein post-exercise reduces cortisol, and then also coupled with that exercise stress, it helps to really stimulate that anabolic response so that we build that lean muscle mass. As I discussed in the last video, perimenopause is a time of increased sensitivity, increased insulin sensitivity, and increased circulating blood glucose, and that can contribute to increased fat mass, but also body compositions that are quite characteristic of this time. So we can improve our insulin sensitivity and our blood sugar regulation by increasing our protein intake. So protein promotes satiety, that feeling of fullness, helps us to feel fuller for longer. And when we consume it with carbohydrate, it actually reduces the overall GI load of the meal, which is really beneficial for blood sugar regulation. But protein's not just important for building muscle, it's also really important as an enzyme and in hormone production. So it's involved in hormone production. So for example, serotonin. So serotonin affects our mood, our appetite, our sleep, our memory, our digestion. We've also got adrenaline, which helps convert the body's fuel to its fuel source. So making sure we've got enough protein helps with healthy hormone production as well. So how do we get more protein into the day? So Preference is with real food. Most of you know I do prefer real food where possible, supplementation as necessary. So protein shakes, they can be a good option, especially if you're short of time post-exercise or as a quick mid-afternoon snack, for example. But otherwise, making sure you're getting some real good quality protein with every meal is important. So, and no matter what your dietary preference is, there are many options. So if you are plant-based, tofu, soy products, nuts, seeds, quinoa, oats, beans, lots of grains, they're all good options. If you eat dairy, cottage cheese, ricotta, goat's cheese, mozzarella, natural yogurt, really good to incorporate into your daily intake. And of course, if you do eat meat or fish, you've got a lot of options there around eggs, chicken, turkey, pork, beef, fish, salmon, tuna. There's lots and lots of options. So the key is making sure you're having some protein with every main meal and every snack and that post exercise. If you're not sure if you are getting enough, keep a food diary for a day. Just write down everything you eat and see if you've actually got some protein throughout the day. So that can be a good place to start, and you might be able to make a small change there to your diet, and then see how you feel in a couple of weeks. It does take a couple of weeks for things to sort of change when we change our diet. So try that. Of course, if you have any questions or want a little bit more help around this, or specific question on your protein intake, then give me a shout, ask a question, and I'll see what I can do to help. All right. Thanks.